Today is Wednesday, April 18th, 2018. It is 1:05 a.m. I'm getting in as many filming videos as I can. Today on this Let's Talk, we're going to talk about... We're going to go a weird way. We're going to go a weird way. We're going to talk about how I believe HAARP killed one of my spells. Of course, this goes out to... Let me pull it up here real quick. Excuse me. Excuse me. This goes out to one Ethan Ross, who has shown interest in this subject. If you go back to my episode 4 of the 50 Names of Marduk, he shown interest in it, and by golly, we're gonna do it. Back in 2012, the summer, Indiana became a little dry, like really dry. When it would rain, it would be the equivalent of a sprinkle. Yes, everything would get wet, and as soon as the rain stopped, dried up really quick. That's how hot it was. And then it got to the point where people, and I don't know why, were mowing their lawns, and dust would kick up. I'm like, why are they mowing the lawn? There's nothing to mow. It's dust. My car was more dirtier in the summer than it was in winter. So, I took matters into my own hands. I called on number 32, Agilma, taking a page out of my friend Harry's book, and calling upon him to bring rain. Now, I love rain. I fucking love thunderstorms. Even though I got a leaky roof and shit, I still love it. I put all my effort and all my might into this, because I wanted it to rain, because it was getting absurdly hot. It was just bad. Now remember, this is the summer of 2012. Okay? This is when we were on the countdown to see what the hell was going to happen. So, with that being said, I'm going to say that I was a major believer in conspiracy theories. But the more we went on, the more 2012 got absurd. And then when it happened, I spent all day watching disaster movies on TMC, or TCM. Now that's not to say that I didn't see some freaky shit. I did see some freaky shit. So, but end of the world wise, or at least not in the way we think of it. But that's a different story altogether. So when that came to pass, I'm like, damn. Okay. But there are a few things that I do believe. HAARP is one of them. Weather warfare is another one, which is associated with HAARP. And I believe that HAARP had a major role in this. Now, weaponizing weather is nothing new. It goes back a little bit farther than a lot of people think. Because back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, there's this little thing called the Cold War, where NATO allies were fighting against the Warsaw Pact, I think. Pretty much the Soviet Union. There we go. So, basically the United States and its allies versus the Soviet Union and their allies. Which you can still see the shadows today. Contrary to what modern consensus think, the Cold War was a lot more than just spies, nuclear weapon threatening. Now, each country went a little weird. Joseph Stalin of the Soviet Union, he was wanting to create ape soldiers. Look it up, it's a real thing. Ape men. Might be Soviet ape men, but look up ape men. Cold War. And then the United States, we had the whole men who stare at goats psychic thing going on. It's not to say that Russia didn't have theirs, but and weather warfare was another one. Now, I'm here on Wikipedia, which just goes to show, prove my point. Weather and earthquake control projects. Numerous theories pertain to real or alleged weather controlling projects. Theories include debunked assertion that HAARP, a radio technology research program funded by the U.S. government, is a secret weather controlling system. Some theorists have blamed 2005's Hurricane Katrina on HAARP. HAARP has also been suggested to somehow caused earthquakes such as the 2010 Haiti earthquake, the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami, the 2013 Saravan earthquake, which I'd never even heard of, and theories concerning HAARP may also refer to mind control technology. Also of interest to conspiracy theorists are cloud seeding technologies. These include a debunked allegation that the British military Project Cumulus caused the fatal 1952 Lynmouth flood in Devon, England, and claims concerning a secret project said to have caused the 2010 Pakistan floods. Knock it off, you two. Cats. But what is HAARP? Nope. HAARP stands for High Frequency Archive, or High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. It was initiated as a ionospheric research program jointly funded by the United States Air Force, the United States Navy, and the University of Alaska Fairbanks, and Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA. So, now I believe that to a certain degree that HAARP does have some control over the weather. Now, I'm not saying it's causing earthquakes and shit. No. But I do believe that it can control and it can weaponize weather. Now, why would we need to weaponize the weather? Simple. Nuclear war. Nobody wins. Everything dies eventually. And if it doesn't die, it might as well be dead because it'll be mutated. Radiation is not a good thing. Ground war, sending in troops, biological and chemical, although leaves structures intact, but that shit has a bad way of coming back on you. And I think that's about it. No, I haven't watched disaster movies all my life. But, create a device to control the weather. Prevents troops from getting killed. Prevents nuclear fallout. You know. Why send your troops in to get killed when you can destroy a country through, how to say it, if you can control the weather, you can control their crops, their agriculture, or in the case of, you know, flooding, all that. I mean, it has a habit of, destroying property, but mainly control their agriculture and food supply. Hit them with a drought. Just saying. So, obviously, a non-nuclear way to... And I keep using that word because that's really basically the forefront of everything. You can look at all the other stuff. It's always going to come down to nuclear warfare. And I wish it didn't. I wish those things were never created, because it is a fucking scary thing to even think about. Then you go into this route to avoid all that. Now, why would they use it on the American people? Good question. It is my belief, considering the fact that Indiana is was number one in meth production, that they might have, be like, to soften that up, because you can have, shit hidden in the corn. So, I mean, I'm not saying, that there was people in the cornfields making meth or anything, but it's not as weird as you think. But I mean, there have been some cases, but where people do shit in the corn, they like hide in it. Possibly to create government dependency. People depend on the government, giving them more power. Could be anything. Could be any of those reasons. I honestly can't say for sure, but it is my opinion. So, and I am willing to change my opinion with cold hard facts presented to me. Now, I'm not going to be saying that, if given, like, hey, read this, with all the sources cited and everything, so I can check. Then I'm going to be like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm not that hard-headed. Like I always say, logic and reason. But, a lot of the shit from the Cold War, is still here. Now, HAARP supposedly closed in 2014. Now, if it did, the thing is that if it really did control the weather, what does that mean? What happens when you introduce a drug, an addicted drug? addicting drug to somebody. They get addicted to it, right? They want more. Then when they're so dependent on it to get through the day, like I am with caffeine. Although, I'll admit that I've cut down my caffeine intake quite a lot in the last few days. This is my second liter of water today. Feeling a little proud of myself. You know, they get so broke down and dependent on it, when you take it away, they start acting irrational. And the withdrawals. All that wonderful stuff. So, them shutting down created a ripple effect to what we have today. Now, I've noticed since 2015, a little bit of 2014, like the tail end of 2014 to now, we've had a lot more torrential rains here in Indiana. It's been rainy a little bit more. We've had, I can't really say a mild winter, because that would suggest, you know, not cold, but the last two winters we've had have been super freezing cold. Snow, not as bad, but cold air wise, yes. Now it's possible. I'm trying to be unbiased here, because if I'm going to be biased, I'm going to say, yeah, this is all ripple effects from it. Mother Nature's like, what the fuck did you do? Kind of thing here. But, trying to be unbiased the best I can. So, like I said, Mother Nature's like, what the fuck did you do? So now she's going every which way. Now, if we go back to 2012 when I did that spell, it comes down to science versus, you know, magic. Like I said, I put everything into that spell because I wanted it to rain. Now, I might have fucked it up. I might have. I remember doing the spell. I remember it drew the attention of some outside entities. But after that, you know, it's kind of a blur still. But here's the thing, I'm trying to figure out. If I did the spell right, and it didn't work, what does that say to me? What does that say? To me, it says two things. that maybe Agilma just didn't want to work for me. Maybe I offended him. Maybe I wasn't sincere enough. Maybe I might have said something wrong. I don't remember every incantation I've ever said. I know I've screwed up a lot, and I've skipped a line or two, but you know, I can't tell you which specific ones. And then there's, did mankind actually create something that can outpower a god? Or a powerful godlike deity? So I mean, either way, I figure the odds be 50-50. But in the end, it's my personal belief, because weaponizing the weather is a safe bet to avoid a long drawn-out war, and to save, you know, troops from getting killed. Now, that's not to say that the Russians didn't have their version. If I remember correctly, I think they did too. I believe they did. I'm not too 100% sure on that. But, like I said, them using it on us to control us, to make us dependent on the government, giving the government more power. So, I mean, stopping the distribution of meth, you know, it's plausible, but it's not really that exciting. It's possible. I'm not going to deny it. But I will say that if given the choice, I would say that it was used to thin the herd, giving them more power. But if it really is shut off, then it did create a ripple effect that we're dealing with the repercussions of it now. So hopefully this video made some sense. I believe that HAARP did control the weather, on top of the already existing stories of weaponized weather from an era bygone. Perhaps it was a little bit cruder back then, and then HAARP came along and, you know, made things run smoother. I don't know. But I'm not going to deny, like, if anybody gives me some solid, legitimate sources to prove that I was wrong in this belief. So, I mean, logic and reason always. It's what I do before I claim something paranormal. So hopefully this made some sense. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that little bell icon if you've subscribed to me, so you can stay informed when I do drop a video, now more than ever. Like I said, I'm going to try to get as many videos as I can before the Wi-Fi gets shut off. So, and be sure to check out the description down below. Sometimes I put things in there that doesn't make it into the video. Sometimes I put funny things in there. Plus, I give you all the links to where you can find me and follow me. And if you're new to this video, head on over to my channel, see what it's about. If you like what you see, subscribe, become part of Team Awesome. I noticed I got 2 new subscribers yesterday. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And hopefully my 100 subscriber special video will get done before it gets cut off, and everything gets slowed down greatly. And I want to say thank you to those who have offered, you know, an ear for me to talk to. And I want to thank, you know, those who do send their blessings and positive vibes to me. Greatly appreciate that as well. I'd like to say thank you to my brother Waylon for his kind words on my last video. I truly appreciate that, I do. I really do. Because shooting yourself in your own foot is not a good idea, folks. It really isn't. You would think that I would have learned by now. Well, I think I've learned it. Just saying. I'm about due for a hair trim. Which is good because if I can get a ride, a vehicle, a steady vehicle or a ride, you know, I can take this job offer that, you know, I keep getting. It's the bad thing about the staffing agency that I'm going through is that it's everywhere but Indianapolis. Like, only one job was Indianapolis. Everywhere else has been outside Indianapolis. Which, you know, getting a job is not the hard part. That's the easy part. Getting there's the hard part. And your positive thoughts and waves and, you know, it just helps get me to a solution, if that makes any sense to you. Because that's one of the downfalls of being a negative Nelly like me. And I'm really trying. I'm really trying. I'm trying to get, things in order. Most of all, I'm really trying not to get my depression. I mean, it's killing me on the inside. And yes, I do vent about it. But on the inside, it is killing me. And that's why I appreciate any of the good positive waves. But I'm gonna wrap this video up now. Probably go to bed because I have to get up at 9, or I have to get up at 8:30 to wake their asses up. But so they can get the keys to their house and all that. Like, you got an alarm clock, you know? So, stay tuned. Let's see what happens next. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Bye.